Hey, all you cool cats and kittens. This is Just Plain Nonsense.
I'm Michael.
And I'm Rob.
Carole Baskin killed her husband, whacked him. Can't convince me that it didn't happen. Fed them to tigers, they snacking. What's happening? Carole Baskin.
All right, and we have Davee in the studio with us today. She's a friend of mine. And then we have Sydney, hey girl over here, Michael's wife.
Hey.
Today, as you can tell probably by the title and our little silly intro, we are going to talk about the Tiger King today. Michael, tell me what we're doing.
All right, so I titled this episode The Prophecy of the Tiger King. So you'll understand that at the end of the episode. But I just wanted to throw that at you.
So you got to watch the whole thing to find out what he's talking about.
So we're going to start off with, kind of just talking about it a little bit, catching up all the other viewers that aren't familiar with the Tiger King. If not, then you need to get out of the rock that you live under and check it out because it's stupid.
I wasn't going to watch it until you told me that we were going to do this episode. And I was like, yeah, I guess I need to watch it now.
He's dedicated. You binge watched it
I
all
binge watched it in one night. In 7 hours, I watched all of it.
Oh, my. Yeah, I feel like social media kind of peer pressures you to watch it.
There was
like
so
I wasn't
much
gonna
about
watch it,
yeah.
and then everyone like started posting memes, and now I'm like, I have to.
My
You're
best
like, I
friend
gotta
made me
know.
do it.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
They were like, hey, go watch this right now.
She's like, you have to watch it. I was like, okay, I will. I promise.
What did you think about it?
I couldn't stop watching it. It was like addicting. What was it? A train wreck waiting to happen.
Yeah,
So
yeah, pretty much.
Oh
It was like all this. It's kind of one of those things where I was holding out. I specifically wasn't gonna watch it because I'm like, it looks dumb.
That's what I
Right.
thought. That's
So
exactly what I thought.
Like, it's gonna be a waste of my life. Like, I'll never get those hours back.
Well, I missed the first 3 episodes, and I would walk past her and be like, "Why are you watching this? It looks so dumb. Like, you're rotting your brain. Why are you watching this?" And then, after those first 3 episodes, I find myself laying on the bed in my pregnancy pillow because I commandeered her pregnancy pillow.
I have one of those in my cart on Amazon that I haven't ordered yet, but
you
I
need to
have
get
one.
it.
They're amazing.
I have one. It's like
Really?
$40, and I was like, I don't know if I want to get that
Oh,
or
dude,
not.
mine was like 80, but it was like a full body.
Oh, yeah, that's what it is, and it wraps around the back and the front.
Yep.
Once we finished our litter, see what I did there, cat stuff. Once we finished having our last kid, I was like, you know what? Okay, I'm going to take the pregnancy pillow because she hates it and I freaking love it. So I just sleep in it, wrap it. So I got in the pregnancy pillow, laid down, and binge watched the last episodes with her, and
They keep you hooked in, man. At the end of
say I
every
liked it,
episode,
but
you're like, I need to know what happens next.
right.
you know what it reminds me of is that. So have you ever seen somebody that they're attractive but they're ugly at the same time?
Yeah.
I was trying to explain this to a guy years ago. I call them ugly pretty people. And no offense if you're one of those people, but it's like, you ever see where like, the best example I saw was, I'll never forget her face. I was like 22 years old. I went into a steak and shake to go eat some steak burgers and some shakes. And this
What do
lady,
you do there?
like from the side profile, I was like, man, oh man. Of course, I was single. There's no hey girl on there. But I was like,
Right.
it's like, dang, I'm gonna go talk to her. She is freaking smoking, right? And then I get the full frontal, and I was like, how did that happen? She went from like a 9.3 out of 10,
It's pretty high.
That's pretty specific, too.
to a 3.9.
Really?
Like a flip. I'm like, I don't understand. Like the facial features just didn't match, and that's what I call an ugly pretty person, right?
I like the pretty ugly person. I like that.
Because
we did that in an episode where you told us.
Because I am insulting them, but I'm also complimenting them, so it kind of balances itself out.
So it's a neg, essentially.
Yeah, so that is exactly how I felt about that show. It was horrible and good.
I honestly was sad it was over.
And happy, probably. I don't know.
You know what? I kind of was, too, because once it was over, I was like, I need more. I don't have enough closure. Like,
They need to have like seasons.
yeah, because we need to follow the rest of the story and find out what happens with him.
Well, apparently the Florida PD felt the same way. Since
Really?
they're opening up the case again for Carole's husband.
Yeah, we're going to go back and open up that case in the last part of it because it's going to my prophecy, the Tiger King.
Carole Baskin.
I mean, because I think everybody got the same feeling of they just need more. They need closure. There needs to be more
Yeah.
to this.
Well, I mean, just
It's
look at
still
her
hanging.
eyes. She did it.
We're emotionally,
She done did it.
We're emotionally involved in this show. And I remember, like, I didn't prepare for this show like I wanted to because, as a lot of my longtime viewers know, that, I wear a lot of cat shirts. I own a lot of cat shirts. There's this weird thing where people keep sending and buying me cat shirts. I've only ever bought 2, and then
I think I bought you 4.
Yeah, but I have like 22 now. I wish I would have brought one, So instead, I improvised. She actually wore the appropriate attire because Carole Baskin wears that
It's
stuff.
all cat prints.
It's all cat print.
So to improvise, I did this once in the very first video podcast where I wore a tie to be classy and business casual with a t-shirt. But this time I'm like, if I wear a trashy old t-shirt that has sweat stains in it and this tie, it's also the same thing, a combination of classy and trashy.
It's called Crashy.
Crashy, yeah.
I don't know if that shirt is trashy enough, though.
I feel like it's a dry fit.
I feel like it's a pretty nice T-shirt.
Can I tear it?
No.
Oh.
No.
Oh, I was hoping you were going
I
to.
was getting ready to hashtag for you guys to step up my game to be with the Carole Baskin imitator here, but
This is
my
a
wife,
dry fit shirt that
my
I
wife,
bought you.
she bought me this shirt, so,
This is a nice shirt. She's like, don't rip it.
so I'm just going to keep the class trash right here. I'm not going to bring it here.
That's not a clearance find, so.
No, it's not. It's a nice shirt. I mean, I think it's dry fit.
I tried.
What does
what I
that?
remember.
What does that mean?
It means you can sweat in it and it won't stain.
Yeah, and it won't stain.
Hey, lift your
You
arm up
needed
real
like
quick.
a white
There's like a
tee.
thing right here.
Is there a sweat stain in it?
No, there's a tag.
It's a plastic tag.
It's a
thingy.
plastic thing from the tag.
Well, there is sweat stains, but you can't see them. It's kind of deceiving because I could feel like this is damper the rest of the material and I'm not sweating.
You need one of
Normally-
those. What do they call
Pineapples.
wife beaters?
I got
To
one.
be trashy.
I should have put mustard. If I would have planned, I would have.
You put mustard on.
Barbecue sauce.
Then you look like Trevor from Grand Theft Auto.
So basically, now that we're starting to get into it, I think we should take off now with, I don't know who knows the most about it, but I think we should engage in the conversation of part 1 of explaining to everybody this, basically the rundown of who the Tiger King is, what's going on, and if we think that crazy lady did what she's accused of doing.
It should be a collaborative explanation effort.
Yeah.
Like you just like throw
So
it.
somebody take it away, whatever, what's basically the premise of the documentary? Why everybody's ranting?
Okay, everyone's looking at me and I don't know why, but I'll go ahead and start off. So the whole premise of the documentary is that there is so much more behind the scenes to these major zoos that you see that have big cats and exotic animals. And so it focuses on one particular zoo, the GW Zoo, who is owned by Joe Exotic. I had no clue who he even was.
That's
And
really technically not his real name, though, right?
no. It's
He had
not.
it changed to Joe Exotic.
Yeah, I think he did. Yeah.
Yeah, because I think it was because he had all his shows were exotic, so he started calling himself Joe Exotic.
Because
I
he
think
used to go
that's
to
it.
malls
Yeah.
and you could bring your kids.
You
and
know what? This is a little bit detracting from what you're saying, but I wonder if I ever went to a mall that had him in it.
I seen a mom that posted a picture of her kids and said that their aunt took them to see the Joe Exotic with the.
He
Well,
was here
I've-
in Marion.
I'm saying when I was younger and like in high school and stuff, when malls were still a thing, and I would go to the mall and I've seen the little tiger cubs and stuff there, and I wonder if that could have been him. I was thinking about that whenever he was showing that part. I was like, I wonder if I was ever there.
Well, it could have been. It's like he's had a following for a long time, and there's this weird competitive world of tiger breeding and tiger zoos, right?
What do you know about the world of big cats?
Yeah, it's pretty nuts. But yeah, go ahead. Sorry,
No, you can continue on. So, okay. So basically, it focuses on him and it shows how he has like this rival, if you will.
a few of them, but one big one.
One big one.
Carole Baskin.
Carole frickin' Baskin. This lady.
And she's in Big Cat Rescue.
Yes. Go ahead and you can explain.
But she rescues cats. She doesn't
so
have a zoo.
She rescues them
Yeah.
and then puts them on display.
And you pay a
You
fee
pay to go
get in
to look
to
at
see
these
them.
rescued cats.
she's actually pretty genius. Because if you were going to be malicious and you wanted to make a lot of money, you would tell people you're doing it for a good cause and they would volunteer.
Right.
And you would get all this money because you would pay for, people would pay for admission.
So you mix the lies with the truth, which is the best way to lie.
Do you remember
The
the part where
ingredients
she
for
talked
perception,
about the different volunteers? Like there were different levels, and
Yeah,
there were
she
people,
didn't
and they
pay
had different
anybody.
T-shirts depending on what level you were in her
I wanted
zoo.
to be a dark green and a navy blue.
I know most sociopaths are geniuses, right? They know how to manipulate people. But it's interesting because she found a way to create incentive without a monetary way of doing it, without like paying
Right.
them. She's like, I'm not going to pay you for a long time, I'm just gonna you're gonna get different shirts, which gives you a status. So your incentive is just your status with us and with the people that come in.
Yeah, she basically created a status structure, and that is what makes you work harder, giving you responsibilities.
Yeah, so
instead of paying.
what you do with your kids, except for sometimes you give them also a little bit of an allowance, like $1 or something
Right.
You're like, you're the favorite kid today.
Yeah, she might ninja the crap out of them. It's like you get to actually sleep with in the nicer trailer now. You get to sleep in the
Right.
and you look at Joe Exotic. So there's that one dude. I can't remember his name. Do you remember the other dude that had 3 or 4 wives?
Doc Antle.
Doc Antle.
Okay, that's right. Yeah. So man, you guys are on it. You guys are going to be leading this one. But he had 3 wives.
No, didn't he have 7?
No, I think he has more than that because there's certain women that had lived there for a
Shane's
certain amount of
nodding his head,
years.
Yeah.
Right. And they're all really very beautiful women.
And he gave them all different names too.
Yeah, and he made them all change their name. But do you remember the girl that is on there that's talking about her life there and how she had all the photo albums
She
and
sat
stuff?
on that big old comfy chair.
Yes,
Yeah.
and she was telling you about her life there and the things she had to do, and one of them was change your name, legally change your name.
That's a strategy to brainwash people. It's very big in cults. You'll see
Yeah, they were saying it was a cult.
Yeah.
Didn't he
It's
call
definitely a
himself
cult.
God? Or his name was meant God or something like that?
Yeah, it was something. I remember something along those lines.
And so they make it to where you're in prison, but they'll tell you can leave. But they give you all the security and they build the whole foundation of your security and everything, emotionally, physically, everything. They'll provide for your things. So that way, you can leave, but then you get blackballed. You're not part of the family anymore. So since it's a family, you don't want to leave. You don't tolerate more.
That's the standard.
You have a new identity. Your new identity with that new name is that family.
That's the standard abusive relationship. Is they're like, you can always leave, but they tear you down so much that you feel like you're so dependent on that one person.
And you have a new identity with the new name, the new life,
And it's kind of just it's appealing. Because if you think about it, in one way or another, we've all kind of contributed to that. When in the documentary, when they were talking about how Doc Antle was the one who provided the tigers for the Britney Spears music video,
right?
And all those movies that had huge animals in it, and you're like, I've seen those movies. I've probably paid to go to the movie theater to see his animals in the movie.
Yep.
And so we're all connected to it in one way or another, and it's crazy to see behind the scenes. This is all what's happening with that.
Well, and that girl was exposing everything.
Yeah.
And she said one of the only things that really kept her there was the animals, her love for the animals.
Oh, you're talking about Seth?
The woman that was on the big comfy chair.
Yeah. That girl.
Yeah, and then you go into the structure, the family structure, and the life and the way they ran. It's weird how they have that same occult lifestyle, because it's very expensive to run these things, to feed these tigers and stuff. So then you have Joe Exotic, and that was the most interesting one because he had a few husbands, right?
Right.
And so one who, if you watch the documentary, was a not gay guy. So he kept getting. I know I will get a lot of lash for this, but what he did, I don't have my full headphone on, that's why I'm loud. There we go. Now I hear myself. But he had the first one that didn't have the teeth, which ended up after all this is over with getting teeth replaced, which is good for him. But he ended up having a secret relationship, allegedly, apparently, from my understanding, I guess.
With the receptionist.
Receptionist and other women, I guess. Apparently, I don't know. Don't quote me on that.
And he got his tattoo covered up, remember? That was on the very, one of the very last one, the new one that they released. He got he had that Joe Exotic tattoo.
Yeah, and they
covered.
actually gave the tattoo artist a lot of crap because they said that I guess because he didn't cover it up all the way.
Right, but he said he had to go multiple times.
Yeah, it wasn't done. So they only showed a portion of it.
But it goes to show you, right? It goes to show you that it doesn't matter what your relationship status is, what type of relationship you come from. Anybody can be manipulated, male or female.
Right.
When you're that vulnerable and you have those kind of dependencies on other people, and they have that kind of occult. You can brainwash many different types of people.
Yeah.
But now that you understand how their world operate on a basic level, would someone like to take us through, now that we know their lifestyles, how their lifestyles were clashed with each other, and how that led with Carole Baskin, her story, and how that led to the ultimate war between these cat communities, so between these families. Go ahead. Or do you go ahead? Either one.
So basically, they all have their own independent zoo or animal sanctuary, whatever you want to call it, including Carole Baskin. And Joe and Carole were enemies because Carole was ticked that he kept breeding tigers and making a profit off of it. And so she would scrutinize him on the internet about it. And she had a huge social media following.
Yeah, huge following.
She, this lady is smart, okay? She's very, very smart. And so it drove Joe crazy, and they kind of just were rivals. Right.
Yeah, I think Joe had a very sensible internet show.
Right. He had a following too that
where he displayed his very understandable mistrust for Miss Baskin.
She killed her husband, and and you're not going to tell me she didn't. You know.
The one where I remember him talking on the show about her birthday, and he stuffed her mailbox full of snakes.
Yeah.
I was like, I would literally die.
Yeah.
Yeah, like none of these, and this is my opinion, of course, but none of these people are decently like stable, normal, like functioning people. Like they all are messed up.
Well,
in their own
that's
right.
like all the people that he hired on to take care of a zoo. They're all like convicts.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he did that so he could give him another chance.
Right, is what he said. But it was like this large dysfunctional family. Each one of them have their own dysfunctional family that kept their zoo or sanctuary afloat.
Yeah.
So I was actually going to say, like, through this whole entire series, there wasn't one person that I liked really, except for Jeff's new nanny.
Oh my goodness!
Wow.
Yes.
Oh my gosh.
I'm sure there were some good, deep reasons for that, way beyond the surface. But you know, if you look at this, it's kind of sad because, you know, I believe in helping people. I believe in second chances, but you have to look at the finite lines, and you have to really ask yourself, was there a sense of good that they did, or were they just using the name of good, like some people have abused charities, you know, to do something for their own selfish ambitions, you know?
I think in Joe's case, his whole thing was he wanted that ego boost.
Well, look at both. Oh, he had a huge ego, right?
Because he was the Tiger King.
Now, between Tiger King and Carole Baskin, I'm pro Tiger King. I'll throw that out there, right? But my biggest thing with that is that, like, you know, he took in people who couldn't get jobs because they were convicted felons or had a hard time getting jobs, right? So he did help them, right? Now he did feed them the expired meat off of Walmart trucks.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. And their living conditions.
Yes. So he did give an opportunity, yes and no. But like, so it's like.
So his heart was in the right place. He just didn't execute it properly.
It's almost like his heart was in the right place, but his head was not.
Right.
Don't do math, kids.
Yeah.
Right.
Stay off.
It's tough because I did a thing about the bio of the Tiger King, right? Of like how he went from his normal life to who he was here. And a lot of people may not know this, but I found this super interesting about how he started out, right? So he was a cop.
Oh.
Married to a woman, had kids, and then one day...
I think he talks a little bit about being married.
Now, if I'm wrong, then, you know, this is a news channel. I'm not giving... You know, I could be wrong, but this is just from what I found. Was that, you know, he found this magical drug called meth, right?
It was quite magical for him.
Yes, it definitely put him in a magical world of his own, you know, and I guess then his whole life, he changed everything about his life, you know, and so, you know, he went from, this is the irony of his life, he went from a cop with a stable life to the process of going there, they went through, going to prison at the end, which we find out with that, and ironically, his life ended, he went from arresting people and putting them into prison to being arrested and put in prison. It's amazing, you know. So kids stay off drugs, you know.
Yeah.
That's my motivational thing for the kids moment.
Yeah.
You know. But anyway, go ahead and explain like that with her and Carole Baskin, and like you really need to explain Carole Baskin's story.
Okay, so I think the impending question is. I've heard this question before, is like, why does everybody hate Carole Baskin so much? Because there are some people who have seen the documentary and they're just like, I don't get it. Joe is just as trashy. And the deal is that Joe is straight up, like, you see you get what you see. And I feel like Carole is like just manipulative, but low key about it.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, yeah, she's
kind of friendly about it.
Yeah.
Well, she comes off as like trying to be nice and friendly and stuff. She was very vindictive and very...
Until she tries to sue you.
Yeah. And then it's very not subtle at all.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Because why not take those tigers from the sanctuary and like all that money that she spent on lawsuits, kind of get them back into the wild and kind of get them acclimated.
I think they were saying once you bring them in, you can't put them back out in the wild. Or some of them. I guess maybe that was just the ones that were bred in captivity, because there's no way they'd survive.
And
yeah, I think maybe because they're so crossbred, maybe they just can't survive out in the wild. I mean, I don't know, but I'm just saying.
I do have to admit though about the cages. Mm-hmm. Tiger King's cages were like big, you know, they were kind of together. And then when he was talking about how she had those little areas where they would get their food and water,
They'd stick their head through,
and they had to
hole
stick
in the
their
fence
head
and
through
stuff.
the hole. And I was like, she's talking about him having them in these cages. And I'm like, your cages are 10 times worse than his cages ever thought about being.
Yep.
Yeah, he's got a huge ego, and she's delusional.
Right.
He knows he's crazy. He may not understand the extent of it. Like, he finds the logic in his madness, but he'll tell you, like, oh, yeah, I'm about to go crazy on her. Like, he knows he's crazy. But, like, to the extent of, you know, whatever. But she literally thinks that she is, like, she's told her, you know, if you tell a lie long enough, you'll start to believe it. She believes she's mortal. Like, how what she does with these tigers in substitution of that, just so she can build a world to be able to sue and take out her opponents. You know? Because Tiger King's got charisma, you know? He's interesting. You know, you got some meth head mullet dude with charisma who says crazy stuff. He's entertaining, you know?
Yeah.
He sold underwear in a store and had music videos and all kinds of stuff.
He ran for governor?
Yeah.
Ran for president?
Yes.
So, what did you guys think about his music videos?
Those
Okay.
were hilarious.
I thought they were hilarious. I actually thought they were quite entertaining.
So, did you guys know that wasn't him singing?
Yes, it's not him singing.
What? I didn't know that. Who
Yes,
is it?
no. I don't know.
I don't think they said, but that was in the episode 8, the post series interviews, I guess, that Joel McHale does.
I was super
about,
disappointed in that.
They talk about how, because you thought it was going to be more to the story.
Yeah.
I wish I'd have heard the songs. Is it something like
No, they were.
Carole
it
Baskin?
was in the. It was in the
Yes,
show.
it's just like that real country.
I
You
feel
saw
like
the music videos because they aired on the documentary. But
was that it? 'Cause there's like 50
Yeah.
pieces. 'Cause I feel like since he was so obsessed with Carole Baskin, there was the one thing he cared about more than tigers and his image with tigers. The success with that was Carole Baskin, right? She was just as obsessed over him, but like, you know, in different ways. But I could just see like every third of her songs probably dedicated to her. Like, you know, Carole Baskin killed her husband. I know she did.
He did a music video about her. He found a Carole Baskin impersonator and did a music video with her where she's feeding her husband to the tigers.
So like pieces of her husband
Yeah.
going like that over tiger cages. That'd be a good idea.
They've got. She's holding it on a
Like tongs.
and feeding it to him, but there's like a mannequin head on the tray that she's holding, and she looked just
She did.
like her. I was like, when I first saw that before they said who that was, I was like, did Carole Baskin really agree to make a music video with this dude?
yeah.
I didn't think I seen that. Did I miss that?
She's like standing at the cage and she's like feeding him. But the lady looked like Carole
Like
Baskin.
just like her.
Oh, and for you viewers who don't know what's going on with the whole husband thing,
Thank you. I
a
was getting
huge
ready.
part of the documentary was kind of focused on the fact that Carole Baskin may have fed her ex-husband to tigers.
She definitely did.
Yeah,
She did
because
it.
you know, he was rich and she was young and she kind of like was a homewrecker, and then he disappeared. And so there's all these, you know,
Well,
Didn't he take off to, where was it, Puerto Rico or
Costa Rica?
Costa Rica, something like that?
Costa Rica.
Costa Rica.
Whatever, Costa Rica, whatever.
Yeah, so I mean, there's all
Portico.
these theories. You know, did he get? Like, was he grinded up in a meat grinder, or?
And her defense was that she had a defense for all of them too, and that one was she could barely fit like something down in there. She's like, there's no way I could have put a person down in there.
yeah,
Or that she covered him in sardine juice.
Sardine
and,
oil,
yeah.
tuna.
yeah, and threw
No,
him
it
in
was
there.
sardine oil.
Sardine
Sardine
oil.
oil, yeah.
yeah.
Well, it's crazy because you look like we need to go on ride the Carole Baskin train for a second. And I definitely want the Carole Baskin
Choo-choo.
imitator here to kind of like weigh in on this one. But like the thing is that, you know, she made, and I want you guys to fact check this because, like I said, we're not a credible news source. You
Yeah,
know?
definitely not.
No.
We're a
definitely not.
conversational like outlet. But you know, you look at it and, you know, from what I understand, she made a comment about feeding her husband to tigers. And then, you know, and this is through a span of time, right? And then her husband went back and told, right before he died, and she went in and tried to change stuff with his will, went and told his family that if I die in the near future, it's because Carole killed me.
Right, because there was his family was on there. Or was it his family, like his ex-wife and his sister or someone? And they were talking about how she was like threatening to do all these things
She
to him.
kept saying she's going to kill him.
Yeah.
And didn't after he died, didn't she break into his office
right.
with the attorney or something like that?
Yep,
and
and
stole
steal.
stole his will and his all that
Yeah.
that stuff.
Yeah. So, and I think, okay, so that's why the Florida Police Department, somewhere in Florida, they're like, we got to reopen this case because this is definitely sketch. Not just that, but it's getting so much public attention. So they kind of feel pressure now to reopen the case.
Yeah.
So
Because everybody knows she did it.
And I'm going to go into
Yeah.
that at the end of the show for a particular reason. But now you can see why, Joe Exotic has been playing off that because he knows, and so he's been bringing it up constantly. Every time she says something like, "Oh, he's inhumane," he'll be like, "You killed your husband. I know you did it." And so he won't let it go. And just whenever people are starting to forget about it, he would do YouTube videos and talk constantly. And he'd be like, "This is a something tiger. Watch you jump through this. Carole Baskin killed her husband." So he like always would like insert in everything he did, right?
But also how he would like to kill Carole Baskin,
Yes.
too. He did discuss about that quite
Yes.
a bit
But the
on his
diff-
shows.
That's this.
And he did shoot a mannequin in the head.
Yeah.
Yes.
That was dressed
He's
exactly
not
like her.
innocent of like he's insane, right?
But he's
the thing is
openly
that he
insane.
actually didn't kill anybody though, and she did.
That we know of.
So the thing is that like
He did kill tigers, though.
He did kill
Yeah,
some
he did.
tigers.
mercy killings.
No, well, that he did, but they were, from what the other people saying, they were perfectly healthy.
Yeah. Well. Yeah. And so
But how do we know that Carole Baskin didn't kill any tigers?
we don't. But,
You know?
but-
Because when you have that many tigers and it's that expensive to feed, I mean,
Well,
She was getting all her meat from Kmart.
Is that why they're out of business now?
which that's the dude knew how to save money, like because feeding tigers is expensive. So what he did to feed his crew, and the tigers is that he would get. Because Walmart has this thing where Walmart is really good about, which is good. I'm saying something nice about Walmart since I bashed them one episode about their checking people at the door bull crap. So let's say something nice about you guys now. So, they're really good about, they won't take return meat and sell it to people. You're going to get good quality meat. You're welcome, Walmart. Not sponsored by Walmart, but you should think about it. But all their excess meat, they have tons of it. So instead of wasting it, Joe Exotic would go get truckloads of that meat, right, from the dumpsters or whatever. I don't know if they approved it or not. That's not for me to say. But he would get tons of the Walmart meat, hot dogs, like hamburger, all that stuff, chicken. And it's perfectly still good as long as it gets out of heat in time.
It's just past expiration.
It's just past expiration, or it's not, and it was already brought to the checkout counter, and they can't put it back
Right.
to the thing.
Because somebody's touched it.
This way's touched it, right? So his employees would get first dibs on the Walmart meat, and they could take it back to their trailers or whatever. And it's like, ooh, fresh Franks, And
From like 2 weeks ago.
yeah. Well, you still eat it. They'll make a turd, and so that's how they would eat, right? And then the remaining bulk. All the raw meat. So he would give that actual meat, which is what tigers eat, and he would give it to the tigers.
Wasn't there an animal, some type of animals that if they died, the cattle or something, that they would get those to?
The cows.
The cows from
Yeah.
somewhere that they had to either kill them or they weren't producing
Yeah.
or
Well,
something.
he would also say if they got hit on the road,
Yeah.
stuff like that. Like he would just basically take any kind of free meat that he could
Yeah,
get.
I'm not saying that's good or he gave quality meat himself, because but it's probably better than cat food. These things are carnivores and they're meant to eat meat.
And that's how he cut costs too.
Yeah.
yeah.
So he did find a way to try to give him what he could with his, low level white trash budget. Like he did try to provide for his husbands and crew and his kiddies the best way he could. Because meth's pretty cheap. But he had a good budget going on. Everybody had what they need. 'Cause remember he bought that one dude all the drugs he needed.
Yeah.
And that's how he knew he was the one.
That's how he had
'Cause
him
took care
locked
of
in.
him. Yeah, that's how he locked in to the marriage, the young guy.
So terrible.
The other not gay, now gay dude,
Right.
whatever, I don't know. So,
That was Travis, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
who end up,
Rest in peace.
rest in peace, end up killing himself on the show.
Man, so the look on is it Seth Dial? Was that his name? The campaign manager?
Yes.
The only sane guy on the show.
I don't know about all that. I beg to differ. He
think
was
he's
missing.
insane.
He was a few screws loose.
You can't be sane and work for the Tiger
Okay,
King.
that is true.
You gotta
That is
be
true.
And
wild.
actually be
He's
his
probably the least
campaign
insane.
manager. That's pretty.
He was probably the least insane.
Let me tell you something.
Yeah, the least insane. He seemed like the most level-headed, but yeah, he probably was.
The look on his face though in that security camera when you see that flash of light when Travis accidentally shoots himself in the head, it's like
Yeah, and he
I've-
accidentally. That's true. So he
Accident-
didn't do it on purpose. So
well,
yes.
they
That's
asked
good
him if
enough.
it was accidental or not. They asked Seth or Josh or whatever his name is, Dial. They asked him if he thought it was accidental, and I can't remember what he said. I think he said
The
he
gun
thought
was
it
a gift from Joe had bought this.
Ruger, apparently.
Yes.
Yeah, and he said it won't fire if there's no clip in it. So, but apparently there was a bullet in the chamber.
Yes.
Well, here's the thing, though, is that there's a lot of controversy that maybe trying to protect people's feelings and the integrity of stuff because there is controversy in that. Who knows? Except for the people closest to him.
Right.
And so, there was a point, if you look closely at the documentary, there was a point where he did make suicidal jokes like, this will be my last cigarette.
Yeah.
And things like that. I mean, we don't really know, but like these controversies are things there's no answers to, which make it exciting to watch it because now we're emotionally invested because there's so much going on and we want to figure out why these people are going insane. As you watch through, you start to see that their world was freaking nuts. Like burning down each other's stuff, like shootings, like it got to
They
threat
work like
war.
20 hours a day.
Yeah, like you take your kids to these zoos, but you don't realize what's all going on behind it. It's a lot. And I think that was super eye-opening for me. There's also one thing I have to bring up because I kind of want the viewers to weigh in on this.
So comment below.
There was this Tiger King meme page that I was part of because the memes were entertaining. Okay, but in there, there's also a Carole Baskin's fan page. Out of curiosity, I went there, okay? Went to the Carole Baskin's fan page. On there, people were bashing her, and her fans were saying, that's not everything. And they were hashtagging if you know, you know. And they were trying to get, and I guess you had to DM them, like you had to say DM me, and one of her fans will message you directly and tell you what it is. But the people who were Tiger King fans would DM them, and then they would comment right after and say, whoa, I had no idea. And then so I'm curious, but obviously I'm not going to DM a random person. So I'm like, I want to know.
Oh, I kind of want to now.
Yeah. And everyone kept saying hashtag if you know, you know. And I'm like, what is this? What is it that we don't know? And so if you know, please comment below.
Yeah, please.
If you
let us know.
Comment below. If you know, comment below.
We want to know, but I'm not about to DM a Carole Baskin's fan out of the random.
That was awesome.
Isn't me.
Because I do want, the whole point of this show is to bring people together. And if it's over a crazy feud like this would be interesting and it'd be kind of fun to get a lot of things out there from different perspectives. So I kind of like the idea of having it on the comments, and let's all just discuss it and see what you guys know about it, what your theories are. And that'd be I'd be love because we do go through and read and comment people's stuff, and I'm really interested in. That's a great point.
You know what we need to do is we need to get those don't F with cats people to go find out what happened to Carole Baskin's husband.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
They're
So,
not
because
worried.
look, if you don't F with cats people out there, what were their names? Do you guys remember the people who were all about setting it up? I don't know, whoever they were, whatever their names are. You guys, they were killing cats. So why don't you jump on that train and go find out where Carole Baskin's husband is? If he's in the Costa Ricas,
Use your investigative skills.
yeah.
Did that break down?
That bath bomb is gone.
So you knew there was a bath bomb right
I
off the bat.
did.
So I know you're a mom.
All right. So, oh my gosh,
Interesting.
I'm gonna have to blur that out.
It's classy and trashy. See
I'm gonna have to blur that out
why?
because I don't want to get not copyright strikes. I don't want to get
That's completely okay. There's nothing wrong. There's nothing to be ashamed of with
You actually have a
tampons.
few of those up in your nose right
Yeah,
now.
I do right now because my nosebleed, which we'll talk about in another episode.
Have you ever been on YouTube and seen the stuff that you can get in trouble for?
No,
Yeah.
well, we'll talk about it later. So we're gonna blur that out, and he's just gonna beep when I say tampons.
Feminine hygiene products.
And you know what? They shouldn't be ashamed of their hygiene products. I'm putting it out there, and I'm just testing absorbency of this. It's really good. Sorry. Anyway, yeah.
Well, you were talking about how people burn things down and how there's crazy people. We were talking about the internet videos and stuff. One person we haven't talked about yet is Rick Kirkham. He's the producer for his reality show.
Yes.
So I got super excited whenever he was like, and you know what? I'm going to try to do his voice. And you know what? We got all of it on video, or however he talks.
and you know what?
Yeah, you haven't smoked enough
I
cigarettes
guess.
to get that.
And you know what?
I guess 0 is not enough.
No,
So he was talking about how he shot all this stuff for the reality show, and he's like, we got it all on video. And I was like,
Let's
it's going to be
release this
amazing.
stuff.
Let's see it. And then all of a sudden they're like, they set the building on fire and they lost all of it.
yeah.
Now, my question, who set the fire?
It's probably the same person who let the dogs out.
Yeah.
I think it was, I think Joe, Dude, that exploded.
Whoa, that's crazy. That's a different shape completely.
That's supposed to be the heavy.
It's a different brand. Is that
No, it's the same brand.
this
One's
one's the
super,
he-
one's
One's
regular.
super regular.
One's heavy flow and one's the.
Interesting.
Whoa.
I didn't know they looked like that. Anyway, going back to who burned the building.
I think it was Joe.
I think it was Joe too.
I think he hired somebody to go do it.
I think it was Carole Baskin.
Right?
No, I do. I think it was Joe. I'm with you.
You know, one person we didn't talk about yet is the girl that lost her arm.
So, and actually, she
Or
identifies as a
male.
man.
Okay, he that lost his arm.
No, we don't. I don't ascribe to that. I'm gonna call her a chick. She's biologically female.
Right.
Yeah.
But
We're not going to get controversial out
Yeah.
here, but
She lost her. Yeah,
Yeah,
she lost
'cause
her arm. She got a bit off.
and she's totally fine with it.
Yeah. Whenever she was like, "No, it's
And then-
whatever," I'm like,
Let's talk about Joe running around in that jacket that said EMT on the back of it. That was like serious right there.
The thing that made me the most angry about that was the fact that Joe was so upset. He's like, "I'm never going to financially recover from this." How about you worry about the girl who just got her arm chopped off
and
instead of you being like, "I can't financially recover." He didn't have to pay anything out for that. No medical bills, no workers' comp, no nothing.
my thing is,
No.
I think he cares a little bit, but he cares a lot more about himself and
Yes.
his ambitions. You know, I've met people like that where it's just like enough to where like it care enough to where it troubles them a little bit because this is what I went through, and then feel a little bit, and then all of a sudden their overwhelming thought, their focus is still how is this going to affect me because they're that selfish, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's I mean, Carole Baskin. So we keep like I want to like finish that point. So she allegedly like killed her husband. There's like overwhelming like evidence leading towards it being likely she did. Right. So there's that, and then so she has this nature to her that is just awful. Like right, like in my opinion, this is my opinion. Right. I'm just me, but. I kind of pride myself on being able to read people decently well, you know? And if you look at her, when she talks about stuff like that, her personality is very, very, to me, my personal, like my gut feeling after hearing her talk about the scene and looking at other reviews and watching it, I think she did it.
Oh, she's super guilty.
Yeah. I don't think she physically did it. I think she paid somebody to do it.
Yeah.
I really do. Like,
Yeah, I don't
And
think
she was
she
upset
because
that somebody
her
paid
mannerisms
somebody
show
to kill
guilt,
her.
but not like you know what I mean. Like, I don't know, I'm not professional. I used to watch a lot of body language stuff and CA stuff. I love like reading people. I think it's a very interesting thing. I'm not a professional though, but my gut feeling from just watching her talk about it and just kind of seeing
her body language.
her body language, her course of action, her response to her course of action, everything in general, just
Those murdery eyes.
from my weird little Michael brain and my gut, I think my vote is she did it.
If you think she did it, raise your hand.
Yeah, raise your hand in the comments.
And yeah, if you think she did it, like, and if you don't think she did it, comment and tell us why. Tell us why you don't think
Pull
she
to
did it.
me.
No.
You beat me
Also,
to it.
subscribe.
Yeah.
Subscribe if you think she did it, and subscribe if you didn't think she did it.
Right, do both.
Yeah. If you like tigers or cats, or if you're even a dog person,
Become a patron
be a patron. Everything else, subscribe.
over at Just Plain Nonsense or patreon.com/Just Plain Nonsense.
Yeah. So
You'll get to see a video of Michael on the toilet.
yeah, it is on there. It's great. See my pants down.
I broke in on Michael on the toilet. Then I put it on Patreon.
Yeah, there's certain content only patrons can get access to because it can't be public domain stuff.
Okay.
But so yeah, Mom, it's on there. Just kidding. So you guys go on a rant for a while, and your thoughts on all this with Joe and whatever. You guys take it for a while because I'm gonna we're on the third part, and after that I'm gonna go on why I call it the prophecy of the Tiger King and what I predict is gonna happen.
I think the scariest person on that whole entire show was the guy that he supposedly hired to kill Carole.
Oh, we didn't even talk about him at all yet.
See,
He
there you
was
go.
the
You take
only moment that I rewind and went back over because when he was saying about how he was going to go and do it, I was like, he was going to go and do it. And the only thing that stopped him was the strip club. Mm-hmm. He took the money that he supposedly got
Shane's dying over there laughing.
and he did not make it.
Well, it makes me wonder, like, It makes me wonder, was he ever going to go and do it, or were him and Jeff just conspiring the whole time?
I think he was. I had the gut feeling he was going to do it because the way he talked about it, he's like, "Yeah, I'll just go, whack her off," and how he was going to.
Yeah.
You want me to off a guy, whack a guy, whack off a guy?
But he was like, when she's
what kind of job is this?
when she's riding her bicycle, I'm just going to come out. He was like pretty serious about it.
Yeah, he was.
I wonder if he and Jeff were talking and they're like, this guy's so dumb, we could get him to pay you money and you just go to strip club.
Well, it's not like he went to like the Humane Society. So he's like, I'm going to recruit my team. He's like, I want to take people that society couldn't trust and that are still actively committing crimes, and I'm going to hire them on.
I want to get this guy with a teardrop tattoo.
Yeah, and then I'm going to trust them with another crime since they're not very good at it. They've been caught before,
But the part when he talks about the putting on this rainbow suit or something,
Oh, the
that
ghillie
was
suit?
the funniest thing of the whole show, I thought.
The rainbow suit?
I do not
Ghillie, I think it was a ghillie suit.
Yeah, with a gun, and I'm just going to walk out there and nobody's going to notice me. That was the best part. I had to watch it like 3 times.
He did talk so nonchalantly about that, though.
Oh, he's like, yeah, I'll
Whenever
I'll
he brought
go
it
do
up,
it.
he talked about it in the interview in the documentary. I was like, who talks that brazenly about thinking about going to kill somebody? And then the fact that they brought it up on Google Maps and stuff, I'm like, yeah, they
That
were
was
definitely-
pretty
We've been
legit.
thinking about it for years.
Yeah.
I wonder how the GW Zoo is doing now that Jeff is running it. Apparently, they were trying to open another zoo.
Closer to
But-
somewhere, was it?
Yeah, I think it was in Texas?
Yeah,
Or
it
I
was
think
by somewhere.
I don't
Well,
know.
that one dude quit because he was like, this is supposed to be 50-50 and I'm just doing all the work.
Yeah.
But he owned a zoo.
Yeah, he brought
like-
down all the equipment, all the gear and stuff, and he was doing all the work.
But he didn't really own a zoo. He was just had this
I feel like it was like a safari
something.
thing.
Yeah, you had to pay big money to be a part, like to go into it.
So I looked up how much it costs to do those things. Actually, I looked up Doc Antles because I wanted to know how much he was charging for people to go on like the Cub experience and all that. So it's like on the upper part of $500 to $600
Holy
for that
cow.
Cub experience. Yeah, and there's different tours you can do. And I was just curious. Obviously, I wasn't going to go, but I don't judge you if you do go. Whatever.
I was just curious. Obviously, I wasn't going to go kill Carole Baskin, but I was just curious to look up where she lives, how much ghillie suits cost, and where I can get a gun. I wasn't going to go though. I wasn't gonna do it.
I was looking up her route home.
We'll talk more about it for the Patreon.
Well, and just
Right.
keep saying on every time you get a chance, I'm going to kill Carole Baskin basically all the
Yeah.
time.
Yeah.
Pretty.
Probably wasn't smart of him, but he was really just working off emotion. That poor Joe Exotic. But
I think he just lost his mind.
yeah, for sure.
Like, I mean, he was paranoid for a long time. He had people showing up to his property. I mean, you can debate how much of it's the meth, how much of it is just him he's just nuts.
Crazy.
How much of it it's a recipe for things,
How much he's just exotic.
I mean, she hunted him for a long time. She tormented him for a long time, and he was. I'm not saying he's this moral guy. He went from like outstanding good person to like nut job to like whatever. I think it was more of like he already had a few screws loose. I think when if you even put a sane person in a point where they're always looking out their window, always looking over their shoulder,
You're just paranoid,
you're going to develop paranoia, because if not, then you don't have good survival skills, But then when fear mixes in with it and it's constant, you don't have a chance to recover from it. So he was living it.
Well, and I think the money that he was making is what really took over for him.
Yeah.
Plus his image. I mean, he ran for president, for crying out loud. I mean, his campaign
Exotic.
to be his campaign manager would be like the attorney for O.J. Simpson.
Yes.
Like if
You
you
met him at
lose,
Walmart.
you're a joke, and it's like, why would you do that? But if for some
But if
reason,
you win, they're like-
win, you're the greatest of all time.
Right.
And this young kid's probably like, well, I'm not going to make it anywhere as far as campaign manager.
Or he was like, I just want to go along for
Yeah.
the ride. He's probably that type of
Probably
I
person.
mean, he
of
worked
fame,
at
yeah.
Walmart and was like, why not?
Right.
Yeah. But if you look
Didn't
at
he apply on was it a Craigslist? He'd put his jobs on Craigslist and you would just reply like, want to feed a tiger? Okay, I'll try that today.
I can get fed in Walmart meat. Heck yeah! I already get a discount. This is sweet. So like you look at it and this guy. There's so many different mentalities, so many different situations out there, and so many different ambitions and weird ways to get there. So there's always going to be somebody for the job. There's going to be somebody. Not like Joe Exotic, but there's always going to be weird people come up the mix that are going to do this because there's always a market. Somebody's going to want to buy tigers. You're going to have all these celebrities that have like Mike Tyson who had tigers and stuff, and how much was it to breed a tiger?
It's $2,000 to buy a baby cub.
Probably not anymore. But
And
Well, Carole
they say
Baskin made it
was-
illegal, so.
Didn't they
thanks,
say
Carol.
Yeah, Carol, way to go.
I could have went from a cat person to a tiger person.
which is still a cat?
Could you imagine cuddling? Because I cuddle with my cats, right? Whatever. I'll throw it out there. You know, I like to, imagine instead of having
Especially Gemma.
you know how I love my pregnancy pillow, but I put my cats in there with me. Imagine if I had a tiger, it would be like my own pregnancy pillow that purrs.
Oh.
You know, I'd be like,
That claws your face off at the same time.
only if I'm gonna train him.
Okay, you can't train a cat.
Yeah.
You're gonna train him Joe Exotic style.
I'm gonna be Michael Exotic. I'm gonna
Just
start my own.
have a pistol with you at all times. You're
But,
just like,
but I'm gonna be as humane as I can because I love animals, and so they're gonna be house cats.
He's a
just
tiger
gonna-
cowboy.
That's it. And I'm gonna craft a giant litter box. It's gonna be like those flower beds outside. I'm gonna
Like
bring
a
one-
raised garden bed?
Yeah, and just put litter in it, and then just pay somebody with Walmart meat to clean it out and maintain it.
They'd
every
have to
day.
come with like a bulldozer.
Right? Like, how are you? That's going to
I
be
don't know. I mean-
too much work.
You remember me telling
Tigers can't poop that much.
You remember me
Well,
telling?
look what they eat. You're feeding them 4-day-old meat. I'm sure they.
Well,
He said it was $10,000 a year to feed him, didn't he?
yeah,
Or was that a
but,
month?
I think they said that was a month.
a month.
I'm not going to have a whole thing. See, here's the thing: is that when I become Michael Exotic, I'm going to have like.
You need an eyebrow ring first.
Oh yeah, well,
And
I'm gonna
then
get rings
9
everywhere.
earrings.
But the eyebrow ring needs to barely be on there.
Yeah,
I'm
hanging
gonna
by
get
a thread.
everywhere.
Living on the edge, just like
I'm gonna
Joe
get
Exotic.
cheetah print everything.
I got dibs on being your first husband.
Well, I will give you this if you want to borrow this. It's one size fits all, so you
no,
should be
you
good
have
to
to
go.
be Carole
I'm gonna nab it.
Baskin.
Yeah, this is exciting. I just need to find a nemesis. Meth can't be that expensive, right? Is it? I don't know.
I don't know.
meth.
I've never
If
bought
you know
it
where
before.
to get meth, go ahead and comment.
JK.
Yeah, don't comment that.
Yeah,
down
we're
below.
just kidding.
So-
We don't do meth.
Yeah, we don't
If you
encourage it.
honestly,
Condone these actions.
if you do comment that down below, it will be deleted immediately.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll Carole Baskin on you, then we'll sue you. No, but so yeah, I'm gonna get off that trade
I
because
will murder your comments like Carole Baskin murdered her husband.
right?
Did you guys see where Baskin Robbins had that sign?
Yes.
That said,
Not
Baskin
really.
Robbins not affiliated or related to Carole Baskin. So I thought that was hilarious.
I wish they would have had like Carole Baskin's 41 flavors and one of them's not husband.
Right? That's good. Can we
like-
talk about how
You guys could use that. Carole.
Husband and sardine oil.
Make that your new
Ew.
flavor, it'll trend.
that wouldn't be very good, huh?
She'll sue you, but you'll get a lot of traffic in your store.
So can we talk about how you can write Joe Exotic in jail? I found out about this today.
Oh yes.
And my best friend told me. So, Christy, thank you for telling me about that.
Girl, Christy, you got a shout out.
I know. Somebody local wrote him, and it took about 3 weeks, and he wrote him back. So supposedly he asked for like money on his books and things like that. But I am seriously thinking about writing him just to see if I get something back.
They have
should.
on that Tiger King memes page. They have like his address. And
Oh,
stuff
I already
all on
got
there.
it. Yeah, I got it.
And because I was looking, I was like, people are writing him. I'm like, what are they saying to him? And I guess he was like, they were saying, oh, he's like locked up right now because of the whole COVID thing. So he's in isolation. And they're like talking about his current state. I'm like, interesting. I didn't realize that you could write him, but I guess why not?
Well, you
Who
can
else is
write
gonna
people
be
in,
writing?
yeah,
Yeah, who
jail.
else is going to be writing
I
them?
think he's going to grow down in history as one of the great kings. Like
Tiger King.
He
Tiger
wanted
King.
fame. That's all he really wanted was to be famous. And right now
Well,
that
he-
he's in jail, he's the most famous person.
Yeah, they were saying in that interview that it's ironic how he kept the tigers in cages and he wanted to be famous and now he's super famous, but he's in a cage.
I think
Yeah.
as far as like not people kings, like historical kings, as far as like kings of the wild, I think he's like right below the Lion King and King Julian. Like
That's pretty high up there.
yeah. I think he's going to go down as one of the great
you talking about
animal kings, yeah.
King Julian from
Madagascar.
Madagascar.
I like to move it.
Do
Yeah.
you?
So
Yeah.
you guys keep
Madagascar.
ranting because whenever you're done, I'm going to finish
No,
with
let's-
the prophecy of the Tiger King. But I want you guys to get out everything off your chest first before we do.
I think
'Cause we got less than 10 minutes and then I'm going to need to close it.
I think we've talked about everybody. And
We didn't talk about the affliction shirts.
There you go. Go ahead.
Oh
Go
yeah,
ahead.
yeah. During the interview, Joel McHale brought up to Jeff. We didn't talk about Jeff hardly.
We
at
didn't
all.
talk about Jeff at all.
I guess he wasn't that significant.
Well, he's like the actual. I mean, he is a villain in the story.
Yeah. Okay. So I was trying to figure out at what point, based on the documentary, because I don't know anything about Joe Exotic outside of the documentary, but at what point he went downhill, like what caused it all. And I think the catalyst for all of it was when he stole the Big Cat Rescue logo. I think that was when Carole Baskin and whoever that little guy that's with her is.
Her husband?
Her second husband.
Yeah, her second husband.
How could you marry somebody who fed their other husband to tigers? Anyway,
Seems like
'Cause he
he's pretty
doesn't-
secure in life. He's not concerned.
But
No, he
anyway,
seems kind of brainwashed.
I think that was
Yeah.
the point when they.
She looks like a puppet.
Yeah.
His sister does.
He drank the Carole Baskin Kool-Aid.
There it is.
You.
You know what the flavor is?
Sardine
oil.
Yep.
But you're right, because that's when he started to go bankrupt.
And that's when they noticed. I think that's when they took notice of him. When they first took notice of Joe Exotic was when he stole their logo.
Right.
Yeah, he was not. It's not like he was a saint. Like, he was in the wrong about a lot of stuff. Like, pretending to murder people is kind of a big deal. Threatening to murder people is kind of a big deal.
Stuffing snakes in your mailbox.
Yeah,
that's pretty.
Like I would definitely have bad feelings about that if someone put snakes in my lunchbox. I mean, my mailbox,
Your
Or her
lunchbox.
especially my lunchbox. Then you ruin my lunch.
But
Well, his
And it's good.
lunchbox is bigger than a mailbox.
yeah.
Yeah.
His lunchbox is ginormous.
You just ruined all my Walmart meat. I'm ticked.
I did.
You
No,
know,
if they put snakes in your
I feel
lunchbox.
like Jeff, though, he always intended to just steal the zoo. Like, he's like the silent assassin.
Yeah, he was very silent in this.
Yeah, there's something in his.
And then
in his-
ninja'd it, like,
He
last
was
minute.
he was just a con man that came in and he sweet talked Joe. It's kind of like you come in and you get him to give you a little bit and then a little bit more and a little bit more and then finally you have 51%. He's got 49, and then you just take over.
Well, and who was the other guy that was trying to set him up? The supposedly sold the stolen Hummer. Who was that guy that owned the
yeah.
exotic pet store in
Yeah.
town and had a lemur or whatever?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And you might-
The snitch.
Yes.
The snitch guy.
something red something.
I don't know, but all I know is that there's a lot of memes of him on that jet ski.
Yes.
That was like, and then the fact that they're playing Eye of the Tiger when he's
my
riding
gosh.
away into the sunset. Let me look up his name.
I think that my favorite part is the memes because, like, it's
it's
like,
really-
why? Like,
we'll
why?
post a couple memes
Can
on there so you guys
tell,
can look.
Okay. Also, to the viewers, if you guys know why these memes are so entertaining, comment below. Is it because we're bored? Is it because we're in quarantine right now, or there's a pandemic
James Garrettson.
that we're just like?
Oh, yes, that is it.
Is this normally that entertaining, or is it
you
because
know what?
we're bored?
Well, there's some of us that are hardcore, like, into memes, but like, yeah, it is like there's people like me that never memed before,
Yes.
But yes, I don't even mind. I don't care. You can go ahead and just bomb the comment section with Carole Baskin memes, and the next time on the toilet, I'm just gonna scroll through and just read them all and laugh. So go ahead and throw your best memes at us, because I've seen some pretty good ones. But
Yeah.
I think that'd be pretty cool to just everybody go through and just see the memes, because I would definitely look. I'd
I'm a
definitely go through
hardcore
everyone.
memer, so
Yeah,
that's
so
what got me.
you can submit them on YouTube down at the bottom. You just have to put a link, or you can put them on the Just Play Nonsense Facebook, which is at JPN Podcast on Facebook.
And so, you guys have any more you want to rant about, or could I go into my closing prophecy for the Tiger
Did we
King?
have anything we wanted to say about Garrettson guy,
Oh, go ahead.
or
Sorry.
is that it?
No, I just thought he's a snitchy McSnitch.
Yes. And I guarantee he sold that stolen Hummer.
Oh yeah.
He knew it was stolen.
Did he get any Stitchy McStitches?
No, snitches get stitches.
Yeah, well, she
needs
called
to.
him Snitchy McSnitches.
Yeah,
so
no.
instead of
No.
Stitchy McStitches.
No, I don't think so. But he's kind of just like fell off the face of the earth now after that whole thing.
He's got protection,
Yeah.
Like, he's kind of got protection, but I don't know. I don't know what's going to go on with him.
Does he have a Joe Exotic condom with his face on it? Is
Oh my
that the
gosh.
protection you're talking
That
about?
was that was interesting. It's clever though, because he actually did do that.
That's
guys.
his
Yes.
brand.
Yeah, he has his own condom line, so
And underwear.
that's amazing. Hey, we're promoting the crap out of this guy. Like,
Well, I'm sure the documentary promoted the crap out of him.
all right, so
did.
so guys, here we go. The moment that ties in why I call this the prophecy of the Tiger King, right? So this isn't a real prophecy. However, after 2 days of sleep deprivation and about 4.5 energy drinks, I'm a busy guy, right?
Let's not advertise the energy drinks.
Yeah.
Don't drink energy drinks.
Yeah, well, we'll talk about that in another episode. I
I was going to say, and stay tuned for the.
Yeah. So anyway, I came up with this theory when I was half out of it, tired, and I was trying to stay awake. I started writing. I was like, I got it. I was like, here we go. Here's how I predict or foresee this turning out with the Tiger King. And it all came from a tweet that Trump tweeted. Rather it's a joke or it's actually going to happen. It triggered a thought in my head. Ready? So Trump was talking about possibly exonerating the Tiger King because he believed he had an unfair due process, right?
Right.
And so I got to thinking, what would happen if Joe Exotic got released back into the wild?
Back into the wild.
Right? And so I thought, like he's had all this time to think. He's probably got a master plan. He went from tiger stripes to prison stripes, you know.
Tiger cage to
And
prison
maybe to an
cage.
ankle bracelet.
Yep.
That's a possibility. If he gets released.
So he's still rocking different jewelry. So I was trying to work a pun in there and I got it. Yes. So so tiger stripes to prison stripes. Woo. So anyway, so here's what I foresee happening. I had to write it all down because it's so out there you couldn't memorize it because it doesn't make any sense. It has no structure. So here's what I predict is going to happen, right? Trump's going to release him, right? It's going to go through. And then, ladies and gentlemen, this is the prophecy that I feel deep in my heart. It's going to come to pass. Joe Exotic will be exonerated and released back into his dream career. He's going to take off where he left off. Here, from this point, despite a desperate attempt to take down the evil queen of tigery, a.k.a. Carole Baskin, he has thought this through, and he realizes that he must recruit the brightest, most loyal dudes from all the meth houses in the U.S. of A. So
That's going to be quite a few.
Yeah, well, the brightest ones, the sharpest ones, right?
So quite a few.
Yeah.
Just a few.
Oh, she's been so, I got you. Woo. No, all right. I'm with you now. So my brain's working too good because I had sleep, so now it's hard for me to think normally.
We'll just agree to disagree.
Yeah, so I see what you did there. So anyway, so he's going to take the time. He's going to do it right this time. He's going to get her, right? So I predict. So then he's going to gather them, and then I don't know if you guys remember the Turtle Man.
Yes.
So another yes,
Live action.
another redneck superstar who lost his thunder, who went off the air, right? So he's going to track down Turtle Man, right?
He comes to hunting and fishing days. He hasn't lost his thunder.
I met his like big TV, like his high point, right? So he's going to seek him out because he's going to need help. Carole Baskin's got a lot of money, a lot of resources, a lot of lawyers, you know.
A lot of sardine oil.
Yeah,
A lot.
She orders it in bulk on Amazon.
Free shipping.
Not sponsored by Amazon yet.
I was going to say that. Yet. So then he'll form an alliance with the Turtle Man, who hasn't been seen anymore doing his high level of live action since his show went off the air. So he's going to be eager for his next hunt, right? So he's going to set his eyes on a higher prize from turtles to Carole Baskin, and they're going to team up, right? And here's how it's going to go down.
Carole Baskin does kind of look like a turtle.
She does. Mm-hmm. Although she has the brain of a, you know, she has the soul of a snake. Yeah.
Soul of a snake.
Yeah.
So she would be House Slytherin then.
Totally.
Yeah. So these two redneck TV stars will step up their game, and so Tiger King is going to go from breeding tigers to breeding tigers with turtles.
What?
Yes, because the brightest meth. Well, stay with me, guys. This is going to make some sense, right? Right. Here's what's going to happen, right? So the meth heads, the brightest ones, will know how to make meth. They're chemists, right? Maybe you'll have a meth head that, like, there's going to be somebody on this planet, in this great nation.
Walter White, bro.
Yeah, who fell victim to meth addiction, but used to be a chemist or a biologist or something, right? And they understand.
So they're going to be a legit cooker.
Yeah, they're going to know science real well, and they're going to be in the DNA. They're going to put a team together,
real
right?
good.
And so what they're going to do, right, is they're going to start breeding tigers with turtles, right? Bear with me. Hold on.
Okay.
It's just going to make sense.
I'm bearing with you, but I'm barely hanging on.
I'm barely hanging on. We're here, but.
All right, ready? Creating the most terrifying creatures that have ever roamed any backwoods anywhere in the world. They shall be called turtgers or turgles. I like turgles. We'll say turgles.
What was the first one?
Turtlers. Turtles. So
I-
tigers and turtles.
I like.
Turtgers
What about
is the first one.
turtigers?
Turtigers.
It's still in the works.
Turtigles.
I feel like Turgles is
guys,
easiest.
This is just a
Turgles.
prophecy. The details are not worked out.
Turgles is like the
This
easiest.
is
I
just
think.
Turgles,
This
yes.
is just me trying to rationally predict what I think is going to happen.
Okay.
That might be a little bit. It's something
But a
like
turgle, this is rational.
that. Yes.
I didn't think so.
A
But okay.
turgle sounds very like non-menacing though.
Just-
You're like, oh god, the turgles.
It's all going to make.
Well, if you call it a turger, because R is the most menacing of sounds,
They don't call it
turger.
muck duck.
they don't call it.
You
muck
gotta
duck.
play that clip. All right.
R is among the most menacing of sounds. That's why they call it murder and not muck duck.
I'm going to say turtles. I like that. Rolls
Okay.
off the tongue better. So just imagine tigers with their sharp tiger teeth, strong jaws, and cat-like reflexes, as before, but now they will be armored with turtle shells to protect their vital organs. It's pretty terrifying, right?
Cowabunga.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, they're
They gonna eat
Teenage
pizza?
Mutant Ninja Tiger Turtles.
Turtles.
Turgles.
Turgles.
We're gonna make a T-shirt on this. by the
Teenage
way.
Mutant Ninja Turgles.
Yeah, Tiger Turtles. Okay, where was I at here? Yeah, to protect their vital organs, right? So it would be a killing machine like no other. Then to make it even more bad, he will splice some of his own DNA into them, right?
Okay, this is getting a little crazy.
It's going to make sense, okay? We'll just tie it together.
Okay.
Are you sure?
a little cray-cray.
Splicing his own DNA, right? And they're going to engineer these things to where they're all going to grow mullets, right?
So
And they
you-
can communicate.
I literally just pictured a tiger with,
So
with a
basically,
blonde mullet.
So biologically,
What about the eyebrow ring, though?
well, he's going to put that in there.
Okay.
Of course.
Are they standing? Are
That
they
just- that also
standing
just
up?
makes sense.
Are they standing up like the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, or are they on all fours?
To be
'Cause
determined.
I need to get like a visual.
Well, that's its imagination.
right
so
now,
far.
they're however you want to.
But that's a great question.
Okay.
So
that's one we'll take up with Joe Exotic later.
And
Yeah.
do they eat Walmart meat?
I'm getting ready to get into their diet.
Okay, good.
So they're great
Oh my
question.
gosh, you go to their diet?
Yeah, it's
Yeah, this
important
is
to
why
the-
you should not
That's
drink
why
energy
when
drinks.
when this goes down and you see how accurate I am, the world's going to turn to me
Whatever.
for answers.
Don't
okay?
do meth, kids.
God, don't do math.
Ready?
Go ahead.
Okay, so basically he'll be fathering them because they'll have his own DNA in them. So they're going to be super loyal to him, right? Him and the mother will be
Carole Baskin.
no.
The mother will be.
Turtle Man, live action. Yeah.
I didn't know that. Okay.
Yeah, because so that way they'll be able to communicate with them like turtle. They'll understand like turtles and tigers. It's all. I mean, these things are freaking amazing. Like
Okay.
it's kind of sad they don't exist. So anyway, he'll father them, raise them through their genetics, bring them up, and then from cubs to adulthood. I guess you would call them cubs.
Well,
I mean, whatever.
you didn't think this out very good.
I was sleep deprived, but it makes sense. Just watch. So from cubs to adulthood, he will raise them on Walmart meat and meth until that fateful day. My wife typed it up for me. Just typed it in there. Until that fateful day, right?
Yeah, blame it on her.
Yeah, this was really good until you screwed it up.
Until you typed it on paper.
Yeah. Until that fateful day when that epic showdown of destiny commences, and it will go down like this. Are you ready? Ready?
Drum roll, please.
Yeah. Boom.
You don't have to do
I
it.
forgot you have technology. You can make the drum roll. Just keep my minds better.
That's what they're going to sound like.
Your
Your turtles. Your turtles.
How do you sound like a turtle and a tiger? Like what?
A turgle kind of sounds like
And we would
gurgle.
roar. Yeah, you would roar. You would roar a gurgle. That's it.
I don't
It
think
sounds like-
turtles gurgle, do they?
That's it. That's what they sound like. Everybody.
Oh, that's good.
That's it. That's the sound of a turtle.
Hold on, let me do a better one.
That's
Whoa,
good.
I love it. Wow.
That's pretty legit.
Skills.
Dang.
You got talent.
He fulfilled the part of the prophecy I couldn't. Good job.
So when I'm bored, I know this is off topic a little bit, but when I'm bored, I make just sound effects, just random sound effects.
Can you beatbox?
Not really well, but I can do this.
Oh,
You
wow.
taught me the boots and cats thing. But anyway, okay, I'm going to get back on this. Because we got a little bit more to go.
Yeah, go ahead.
meth and Walmart meat, blah, blah. All right.
All the essentials.
And it will go down like this. You ready, guys?
Do it. I want to hear the battle.
They're going to make a movie after this, right? The Tiger King, Turtle Man, and an army of turtles will stand glaring upon Carole Baskin's property. The Tiger King will cue the Turtle Man to release them with a slow motion nod. The Turtle Man will yell his iconic catchphrase and now battle cry, "Yee! Live action!" From there, this will release the meth-fueled turtles that will raid her land, redeeming her for all the horrible things she has done, destroying everything in their path as they hallucinate and make their way to what will be the last moments of her reign. As they close in around her, she freezes in fear, knowing she can't sue her way out of this one.
She's like, hold on, let me call my attorneys.
Right before she suffers a familiar fate, a familiar fate is her late husband.
Hers is a little bit more.
Well, because she gets eaten by tigers, right?
Right. Hers is a little bit better though, because she gets eaten by a turtle.
A turtle.
Yeah. Joe Exotic style tiger. It's even more.
Right. A methed out turtle.
You gotta
tiger
admit,
hybrid.
that's pretty good though. As she meets the same. So right before she suffers a familiar fate, the familiar fate to her is another typing error.
Don't point him out. Nobody
It
will
made
know.
so much sense to that. No, a familiar
Fate.
fate.
It's right before she suffers a similar fate as her late husband.
There we go. That's not what it says. There's another weird word, but she stares into their mullets.
They're
And their eyebrow rings.
They're gleaming mullets.
And eyebrow rings. I'm glad she added that in there. Throw that into the imagination with it. She realized that in that daunting moment that the Tiger King finally got his revenge. Her last words will permeate the air as she is devoured by the kingdom of the Tiger King and his turtles. Her voice settles into his ears in the distant echoing of her yell, "Tiger King!" Her last words was all he needed. Her last words. That's all he needed to hear. Content, he and the Turtle Man hop onto their turtles and rode into the sunrise, into their next adventure, founding what I predict another turtle farm, which will make him more successful, more willing to reach all their goals and ambitions, and it will be called the Live Action Tiger Farm. The end.
And that's what will happen to
And
Carole
that's
Baskin.
pay attention. And when that happens, you all need to come here and follow us because I got the insight. Or
Okay.
you will.
He's got the no.
That's the JPN prediction of how this is going to play out.
Turtles are going to be snapping turtles, obviously. So deadly.
Oh, heck yeah.
Super deadly.
Yeah.
Or sea. Some of them can be sea turtles, so that way they can be like amphibious. They can go in water and come out.
Nuts.
Oh my goodness.
Noggin.
Yes. Oh my gosh. So that's
Yeah,
it.
there's not much
That's what
to
we
say
got.
after that.
Yeah, that's an excellent ending to this episode. I like the way Michael ends them. This has been another lovely episode of Just Plain Nonsense.
Yeah, and once again, subscribe. Love to do all that stuff. Thank you to our new guest and new friend for me. He's done it for a while.
Davee.
I almost called it Carole. That threw me off.
Well, there's my new name, I guess.
So,
Well, thanks for having me.
Yeah. So thanks for coming on. You guys know Hey Girl, and this is like your first episode or something. I'm Mike. I'm Rob. Rob, do the closing. We're done.
I'm Mike. I'm Rob.
I'm Mike and Rob, and he's just Rob.
I'm just a turgle.
A turtle.
It's a turtle.
And we're gonna close it in 3, 2, 1. Close it, Rob.
All right. Thank you guys so much for watching. We appreciate every one of you. Listen, if you guys want extra content, if you want to see Michael sitting on the toilet, go over to Patreon and subscribe at patreon.com/justplaynonsense.
Because we're not allowed to show that on regular YouTube.
Yeah. You can follow us on Instagram at nonsense.podcast. We are on Twitter. We've given Twitter to Michael, and he's posting his like random crazy thoughts. So the Turgle incident stuff might be on there. We don't know.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I just started it. I'm more of a caveman. He's more of the tech guy. I'm real old school. So he kind of made me start Twitter.
But if you guys know Michael as well as I do, you know he would be perfect for it.
So I just started. I got like 9 followers. But I just
So
started.
follow him up. Go follow
me.
So you guys go follow him at JPN_Michael. We've got.
Yeah. I just started. By the way, I just started my
Twitter.
I got 29 followers. I just literally started.
No, you're following 29 people. You have 8 followers.
Oh, I have 8 followers. I'm following 29 people. So I just started. So
we're gonna get this figured out.
This is gonna be my first week actively being on it. So like, help me get this going because we're on our regular podcast. We're doing really, really well. We've had like 30,000 active listeners. We got like 2,000 subscribers. But we just started YouTube. And we're just starting some of our outlets, so help us get that going, so we can actually like look credible and not have like 8 people, like on our social outlets, because we're just starting them. So help us out there if you like us. If you don't like us, then don't do it, or do it. I don't care, whatever. I mean, I do care, but whatever. Go ahead.
So then our Just Plain Nonsense is @_plain nonsense. You can follow me at Anenesi on Twitter. I don't post a whole lot there, but I'm trying to get there. But anyway, we've got Facebook at JPN Podcast. And then go to our store and buy some more merch. You might find some Turgles on there eventually.
No, they're definitely going to be there eventually. It may not be soon, but I'm definitely going to draw the prototypes of this like I did the Katugis. And Rob's going to master it and put it into whatever. But you're definitely, at some point in life, unless there's apocalypse or something that happens, there's going to be a Turgle shirt. There just has to.
So should we call it the Teenage Mutant Tiger Turtles?
We'll figure out the details.
Turgles or Turger? I mean, come on.
And also, related to an old
Teenage
podcast,
Mutant Methed Out Turgles.
related to an old podcast, there was a girl on there that we know that is, she is a phenomenal writer, and in one of the comments, she wrote an entire story for the backstory from My War with Seagulls, and created this whole superhero comic hero called the Gold Avenger or whatever. But I would like to have that superhero put on there. But anytime that you guys do anything like fan stuff, we're going to rather do a tribute to it, or we're going to put it on a shirt.
Yeah, we're going to promote the crap out of it.
Yeah, and obviously giving you the credit for it. When we ask you guys to draw stuff like this, if you draw your own Turgle and you put on there, we like it, then that's what we'll use, and your name will be on it. Because like this is supposed to be a community. Same thing with drawing the pictures of us, what you thought we looked like. Because we had a lot of fans from season 1 that when they saw us in season 2, we didn't look like how we sounded. So like anything you guys draw, and I'll print this or anything, if you put it in the comments or you send it to us, we'll promote you. We'll put you out there, and we'll use it because we love that kind of stuff. It makes us happy. And we think it's funny.
Well, yeah, because it boosts our ego.
Yeah. And then I'll have to figure out how to draw it because I'm tired of drawing stick chickens and stuff and weird art. Like it's good to have somebody talented through something. We'll use it. We'll sell it. And, it'd be fun. We'll do products to you guys.
So that's the end of the podcast. Subscribe and go watch our other ones. We'll see you guys later.
Later. Bye.
Bye.